Okay guys, the TRX bumper looks to be a little bit different than what you're used to seeing for these brackets. So the actual bolts you're talking about in your instructions are these two outer ones, this guy and this guy. And if you look, that's blocked by some plastic shrouding here. So in order to get to those, you have to cut out this support right here, potentially also this guy, that guy, and this guy right here, and then somehow notch out right in here in order to get to the bolt that you need back into these spots right there. So that bolt that we're looking at is right in here if you look underneath, and that's where these brackets would come in and connect to. So I'll do some cutting and see how it works out. Okay, here's where we're at with things. We cut out all the support pieces, the three of them that were closest to this grill. There's a large center support piece here. This guy here also cut out, gives us access, kind of opens things up in here. Then additionally, in order to get the light bar does not fit into this one way or the other, so it has to go from the bottom. In order to do that, we had to cut out this piece of plastic here from the inner shroud, basically giving us some access from the bottom. After that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 10mm screws, which loosens up this plastic piece, which hopefully will give us enough room to bring the light bar in from the bottom, in and back. And then the screws we're looking at to get to the Baja Designs brackets are this one here, 14mm, and then this one here, 14mm. The screws on the inside of the bumper are the same, but the inner plastic is very different. Okay, so next update, going in from the bottom, there's just not enough play in this plastic bracket right here. So actually what I was able to do is undo the clips along the top of the shroud. This guy came out, and with a little bit of help, just folded in enough to get the light bar through here and up around, so it kind of sits in here right now. That leaves us these screw holes ready to put our brackets on. So really, I'd say maybe just for ease of access, the bottom may need to come out, because we definitely need to get to those screws, and that's what that bottom shroud is covering. But maybe if anything, just notch out right about here, and the same thing right about there. The whole shroud doesn't need to come out unless you really want to make it super easy. Okay, so everything is screwed together, tightened down. A couple cool little things I noticed is when we trimmed out the main support piece here, this one here, by the way you trimmed it, if you cut it just at the bottom, this actually sits right at the top of the light bar. Same thing on this side. That way, this part here where we've basically gutted the 3 supports, 1, 2, 3, actually has a little bit of substance right there, so it's not just flapping in the wind. Don't forget to reattach these guys. This is actually decently supported. I suppose you could make like a little piece to kind of attach this to here to add a little bit more strength to it, but this doesn't really get too much play in it, and I think it's good enough for what we got. I made a little hole right here that we have this little zip tie. Keep in mind though that you don't want your zip tie sticking out, because you've got some rubber here that where this will contact. It's got some flex to it, but you really don't want a big hole. And then there's our clip right there.